I think we might be going live. Yes, it said you're live. I am live. Welcome to another edition of Mike Goes Live, which seems to be happening more frequently than before. But I am here at another unfortunate hour at 5 a.m. Eastern Time, which is like 2 a.m. Pacific. All right, sorry. Did I really mess up and say specific instead of Pacific? You know what? This is already going poorly. Anyway, welcome to Mike Goes Live. I am going to talk about a few things today. I want to talk about the Steam Deck memory thing since that was the last video I did. We also got some other Steam news. We got some PlayStation news about the PSVR that I didn't cover on Sunday. And then we also got some news about the Nintendo Switch sales. So we're going to talk about a little bit about everything. But if you've seen any of these previous live streams, which no one sees live because, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. But if you've seen any of the previous replays, these live streams, then you'll know that what I usually do is I'll talk about my personal life a little bit, and then we'll hop into the news. But before we do that, I gotta do a channel update. Because if you pay attention closely, you'll notice today is actually Thursday and not Wednesday. And that is because I have decided to change my video schedule again. And I was thinking about putting out an announcement, but I don't even know how many people actually realize that I do videos every Sunday and Wednesday. Well, the Sunday one is obvious because I always say, welcome to another sensational Sunday. But I also would have my midweek video, my review or whatever video on Wednesday, or in this case, a live stream, which I have been doing like every other week. So I've decided to move the video day to Thursday instead. And I decided to do the change starting this week. I might post in the community tab thing. I didn't really want to make a super big deal about it because before I would drop like a whole video, I'm changing the schedule, y'all. And then like 5 people will watch it. Like, I don't think it doesn't matter if the video is interesting, people will come and watch it. That's what I realized. But I do like to be pretty consistent with my schedules. So yes, I'm moving to Thursdays, and it was just because I've been struggling with the Wednesday videos for a while now. So I've been on this current work schedule for the last 6 months. And I think I've had like 4 different jobs since I started YouTube. So that's why my schedule changes usually. And my schedule at work might change in the next couple months. So, it might even change after that. But I try not to change it too much. I always wait and see what's going to work and what's not going to work. So I know before I change my video to Sunday, because before I was working Monday through Friday and I hated getting off on Friday and then having to worry about recording the video. It's my last day of work. I'd be super tired, and then editing it and getting out by Saturday. And that's when I switched to Sundays. I don't even remember. I think that was over a year ago at this point. But yeah, that's why I switched my Sunday video to Sunday, Sensational Sunday. And that still works pretty well. But the Wednesday video now that I work this night shift, is an issue. So with the Sunday video, I usually record it Saturday night, and then I edit it Sunday morning. So the way my sleeping schedule is, because I work until 2 a.m., I sleep until the afternoon. So all my time is like from the afternoon until like, typically 5 or 6 in the morning. I usually stay up late. Well, it's 5 in the morning right now. So obviously I'm lying. I'm already lying on the stream. Y'all caught me lying because I'm already up. So realistically, it's probably between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. is when I usually go to sleep. So I'll record the news video Sunday night and then edit it usually Sunday morning because I like to hang out. So because it's one of my days off. So I like to hang out. I record the video, hang out, go do a bunch of other stuff. Usually have a little sippy or whatever. And then I'll go and edit the video usually after Jeff goes to sleep because we like to hang out together on our days off. So I'll usually be up until like 8 a.m. editing that. And then I got to go to work later after I wake up because I work Sundays. That's my first day of the week. It is the first day of the week, and it's also my first day of the week work-wise. So that day is already spent. So Saturday and Sunday are already spent because I'm already recording and editing that video. And then realistically, that will leave me 2 days after that to get my Wednesday video done. Because usually after Sunday, like after I get off Sunday morning, or Monday morning technically is when I will get off work, when I work Sunday. So Monday morning, I'm usually super tired because I did the video the day before and I didn't get a lot of sleep and I had to go to work or whatever. So that day is usually shot. That's like a non-work day, and plus I need a break in between videos. And then that just leaves me Tuesday morning and then Wednesday morning. But Wednesday morning is like crunch time. Like I have to record whatever else I need to record, and then edit the video because it would have to go up Wednesday. So there was a lot of times, like with the Steam Deck first impressions video, I recorded all the B-roll on Tuesday morning, and then I didn't even record the video until Wednesday morning. And then I already had it written out and everything, so it wasn't like it was already like planned. So it wasn't like scrambling or anything. The recording took about 45 minutes. Ooh, my throat gave out on me. Sorry, y'all. So recording the video took about 45 minutes. I ended up being up until like around 10 a.m. editing, because I usually, for those videos, I might do like 3 or 4 edits before they go out. So yeah, it's a lot to do in 2 days. So having that extra day to get stuff recorded, because I can have one day for B-roll, one day for the main part of the video, and then even if I'm editing at the last minute, it's not as bad because I'm just going to be editing instead of recording and editing, and so I'm not wasting my whole day being up until like 11 o'clock in the morning and then go to sleep and wake back up at like around 4 to go to work. So that's why I'm moving it to Thursday. And yes, that was overly long just to say that I'm moving a day forward for one of my videos. So yes, look out for my new Thursday video. I'm not sure what I'm doing next week yet because that's how far ahead I plan. And the funny thing is with the live streams, it was supposed to be like kind of like a break so I could get more stuff done. But what happens is I'm usually so exhausted from the other videos that I just don't end up working on a video that week. So like this week, I could be working on a video for next week and then I'd be ahead. But that just never happens realistically. I'm a procrastinator. That's the truth. I do hard work on my videos, but when it comes to trying to like work ahead of time, like I get my ideas ahead of time. I can write ahead of time. But like when it comes to recording, I'm like, I'm always very last minute. The news videos I have to be because I don't want to miss any breaking news, so I really record those like as late as I can on Saturday, so that way I can slip anything in if needed. Like a story might pop, and I'm like, ooh, let me throw this in the video. But yeah, that's what's going on with the video, y'all. With my Wednesday videos, moving to Thursday, Thirsty Thursdays. Got Sensational Sundays and Thirsty Thursdays. But yeah, that was long and ranty about just a simple schedule change. I'm sorry. But speaking of changes, let's talk about some changes that I've made around here. So if you notice, the microphone is different. It's not different. It's the same microphone. But I actually got a microphone arm. It's not in the shot, so you can't see it. But it's super convenient because before, I got to do something about this background, like AC sound or whatever it is. Because obviously I'm not going to turn off the AC. The AC is not going off. Like, not only would I die from heat exhaustion if the AC went off, but I would also get killed by Jeff. So I can't turn the AC off, but I'm probably going to download RTX Voice again. I had it on my computer before I reset it and I never used it, but there is like a constant AC sound. So if that bothers you, I apologize. I was trying to mess with the filters on my new audio interface, which is another thing I got. But yeah, it didn't really help that much. So yeah, the microphone arm. This reason this is convenient is because I have a keyboard under here now. Look, I can type stuff now. I can type stuff because my keyboard is not pushed back. So yeah, before, because my desk is actually like probably back here ish. So the microphone would be like all the way up here at my desk. I had to push my keyboard back so I couldn't type anything while I'm doing the video. It would have also made it extremely difficult to play games, which I might eventually do on stream. I'm not sure. Games are weird monetization wise. Like not every time, but there are some times when I have gaming videos and I just get demonetized because of the music. And it's super frustrating. That's why I don't like to do a lot of gaming content. And if I do, I usually don't have any in-game audio. Plus, I think I like talking about some of the tech behind games or tech related to games, not necessarily playing games. But, this is kind of a gaming channel now, so I could go and play some games, but I haven't decided yet. But if I do, this new setup is going to help. So microphone arm, so that way this is like out of the way of my keyboard. I could actually have my keyboard. New audio interface. I think I've complained about it before. My old interface, the volume option was like either it's too low or the max volume just clips everything. And this also has the clip guard thing, which is awesome. So I don't really have to worry about it clipping, which I think it just did, but it guarded it. It guarded the clip. So I can have this up a little bit louder because my voice is like, it's low. I have a lower voice. I recognize that. That's why I have to boost the audio in all my videos now. But yeah, it's the Wave XLR, the Elgato Wave XLR is what I got. Where's the box for it? This thingy, the Wave XLR. It was on sale like on Amazon for $120, and I needed a new audio interface for a long time. And I don't like the idea of getting a single audio interface. So I'm like, oh, what if I have a podcast with somebody or something? But I still have my old audio interface, which still works and has two XLR inputs. So worst case scenario, I can make two microphones work if I need to. So this is it's really nice. It's super nice. I also had like weird interference issues with my last one, and this one is it's been pretty good so far. This is my first official test, but I did like some preliminary runs, but this whole stream is new. The last stream, I had a bunch of technical issues. Like I had just set OBS back up on this computer, and the bit rate was like way too high for what my connection can handle, so it kept cutting out. And on top of that, the audio was cutting out because I had plugged my audio interface into a USB hub that was on top of my desk, and it just wasn't a good idea. So I think halfway through the stream, I moved it to my monitor USB port because my computer's under my desk now, so I was using the hub on top, whatever. So my new audio interface is plugged directly into the computer, so hopefully we don't have any weird audio drops randomly. Plus, this has a dedicated mute, which you don't get on a lot of audio interfaces because this is well thought out. This was just for streamers. This was made for streamers. And I like it so far. It's a little bit expensive. I could have got like a more professional one considering that I do music stuff sometimes, but I don't want to break the bank. And speaking of music, I had started doing the music for the live stream. I was like, I'm going to do my intro today, and then I got lazy. So by the next live stream, I'm probably going to have an intro done. I probably will. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I got this new audio interface. I got this new microphone pole, so to make it a little bit more convenient to do live streams. That's why my angle is a little bit wider than normal as well. I had to back it up because I'm not pushed into the desk like I usually am. But with that out of the way, that's what's going on in my personal life. That's all I've gotten new so far. Aside from, the Steam Deck, which you guys already know about. It's not really new anymore. It's, the Steam Deck's moved in and it's comfortable. But since the last live stream, this is what's new. I also fully purchased Unraid. I did that server upgrade, and I was like, I'm trying Unraid. So I did decide to purchase the full version of that. So now it's officially a part of the family. So welcome Unraid to the family. Yay. I don't know why I did that. But, yeah. But let's hop into the first thing. I want to talk about my controversial Steam Deck video. The 64 gigs isn't enough. It's got some decent views. I knew it was going to be controversial. And the like to dislike ratio proves that. But, I'm never like, don't express yourself. If you didn't like the video, that's cool. Leave your comments or whatever, say whatever you want to. Generally, the comments were just kind of like, it was mixed. So one person did say it was helpful because they found out that they couldn't use their Switch memory card. Some people were saying like, yeah, you got to do your research. And some people agree with me. They're like, 64 gigs isn't enough. The one person said like Valve should have just marketed it maybe as like the console for indie games, like the 64 gig version, like the version for like indie games and stuff like that. So it was kind of mixed. It was mostly people. I feel like a lot of it was just people saying like, yeah. I don't know. It was a good, healthy amount of comments. I really appreciate all the comments on that video, but whether you agree with me or not. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of clarify on that front what I was talking about with the 64 gig thing. So before I bought the 64 gig Steam Deck, I already knew that it wasn't enough space. Like, I was like, realistically, because it's not like I didn't have a gaming PC in Steam. I was like, yeah, realistically, that's not enough space. So the only thing I was surprised about was like that they took up 22 gigs. That was one thing I was surprised about with the OS. The other thing was how bad the performance was with my old A1 SanDisk 128 gig memory card. So those are the only things that I was really surprised about. But I'm glad I had that experience so I could talk about it in the video. Because if not, I probably wouldn't even have tried that memory card. Because when I got the Steam Deck, like personally, I already knew I was like, okay, I'm gonna need a good memory card. It's gonna have to be fast. It's gonna have to be this. I was like, I'm probably looking at an A2 at least. Like I know someone in the comments said that like the memory card I bought was an A2. Like I was already planning on it. I just waited too late to order it. Like I had the Steam Deck on the way, and it shipped a lot faster than I expected. So I ordered it like 2 days after it already shipped. So like I said, originally it was supposed to get here the day after, then it got delayed, and then I got really thirsty because that, like I said, 64 gigs wasn't enough. So I grabbed, it was actually Jeff's Switch memory card because he didn't have anything on it yet. He just upgraded to the OLED, and because it has 64 gigs of storage, he hadn't even really put anything on the memory card yet. So I grabbed it, formatted it, just so I could install a couple games so I could fully try the Steam Deck because I already waited a day at that point and the memory card didn't come, and I was like, look, I'm too thirsty to see what these graphics are like. I need to see what God of War looks like up here. So that's the reason that I ended up using that memory card. It wasn't because, for me at least, it wasn't because I was like, I didn't consider what memory card I needed for it. I'd already had it on the way. I was just lazy. That's what ended up happening to me. But yeah, it was good for me to have that experience because I didn't think that was the thing that surprised me. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Like I figured it would be slow. I figured it might have some issues because it's just a cheap memory card, and you're doing a lot heavier reads and writes than you would normally on that type of memory card. So yeah, like especially in comparison to using it to a Switch, which you're probably not going to be downloading files that large for that long with that much heat either. So yeah, there's just a lot of factors that went into it, but essentially the experience was bad. It took me 6 hours to download and install God of War because the memory card kept going down to like kilobits, like 300 kilobits per second. Like the speed just kept dropping on it. So yeah, that was the reason I wanted to kind of document that experience in the video. So like I said, I already knew 64 gigs reasonably wasn't enough. I bought it because I'm planning on upgrading it, and it's cheaper to buy the 64 gig and upgrade than it is to buy the 256 or even the 512. The 512 you do get the edge glass screen though, so if you want the fancier screen, you could always get the 512. But I think if I remember right, the 256 is like 529 or something like that. You can definitely get the 64, and if you're comfortable with upgrading, you could probably throw a 512 in there and still pay less money than the 256 gig. So that was the reason that I personally got the 64 gig. So I already knew prior to going into that, or prior to even getting the Steam Deck, that wasn't really enough space. But the other angle was when I do these type of videos, part of me also has to think about, if this was a device for the general consumer, which I did hear like scuttlebutt on the internet, like people like, oh, I'm not into PC gaming, this is gonna be my first gaming PC, etc., etc. When you have new people coming in trying this product for the first time, they're not a lot of times going to be as savvy right off the bat, and I think people underestimate that. Look, I've done tech support for various companies for like 8 years now, so it's something that I think about constantly. I'm not in consumer products anymore. I'm in B2B now, but something that I think about constantly just from my time with working in consumer support and dealing with consumer products is, some people might think that everyone who's going to buy this product is educated, and the truth is, they're not. A lot of people aren't going to think like, oh, I need to go on Reddit and look at the recommended memory cards for the Steam Deck, because if not, I might have a bad experience. No, they would probably buy the Steam Deck, and after they realize they didn't have enough space, which is fairly easy because they can go to install something, they're probably going to go, to whatever's open. They're probably going to run to Walmart or something and get the cheapest memory card they can get for a decent size, so they can go ahead and play this. And if they do that, and then they have a horrible experience, then they're just going to be like, what's going on? And then it's going to create a point of frustration. Like if they go buy a cheap memory card and it takes them 6 hours to install a game, it's going to create that point of frustration. And they still might not 100% understand why they're having this bad experience. Then they'll have to go look it up and find out, or call, Valve support or contact them. I don't even know if they have a number, but they definitely have support, obviously. So maybe email Valve support and wait to hear back, and then they're having this super frustrating experience that they don't understand why. So that was kind of the thing that I thought about when I was doing the video. It didn't have anything to do with my expectations personally, because I already used to work with consumer cameras, and I already knew the importance of having a decent memory card. So yeah, that was a whole thing. Like I forgot which camera it was that came out at the time, but people were mad because they had to have, I think it was like a V90. And at the time, I don't know if they've gone down in price, I haven't checked, but at the time they were like $300 memory cards to use certain bit rates on some of the high-end cameras that we sold. And even those people, the people that bought like a $3,000 camera, got mad because they didn't understand why they needed a super fast memory card. So yeah, you can't always expect, even if someone is in this space, you can't always expect them to understand what kind of memory card they'll need. So that's my whole mini rant about the 64 gig Steam Deck thing. But yeah, I still recommend it though. I recommend it because it's cheaper if you're comfortable with upgrading or comfortable with using the micro SD card. It's a good value in that aspect. It's just not. It's just I think Valve could do a little bit better with making it apparent that you're going to need that memory card. Like, you're going to need it as soon as you get it. You're not going to be playing any games on it unless you want to play like some indie games or something without a memory card right off the bat. So I think that's what they could improve on, but it's still a good option. Like I said, but I'm gonna get off the deck train. All right, we moving off the deck train. What are we gonna talk about next? Since we're already on the subject of Valve, let's talk about what they're banning from Steam. They're banning stuff. So, starting in September, Valve is actually going to be banning review scores and award logos and marketplace key art. So, basically what this is, I was actually considering doing this for the Sunday video, but I thought it'd be better for this so we can kind of deep dive into it. So, if you've seen like stuff like this, Batman Arkham City, 10 out of 10, Game Informer, 5 out of 5, greatest games made, period, G4TV.com. Like stuff like this, Killzone, like these games are obviously super old, right? But they still got this art with, this is just like a 361, for example, the example that they're using. But, yeah, now, considering how old this game is, it's not irrelevant. None of this stuff is really relevant to the game anymore. So that's basically what Valve is getting at. Also, they point out in this article that a lot of these things aren't in English, and they have, audience that doesn't speak English, so it kind of isolates them as well to, they look at a game and it has all this English text and stuff written on it, and they might not be able to read it. Even if the game itself does offer, language options for languages that they might speak, the art is going to be the same, and it's going to be, it's pointless. I mean, it's good that the game got these awards and scores and all that stuff, and they want to showcase it, but I think in most cases, I feel like a lot of people know what the popular games are, what the games they want to play, because they're going to hear about it everywhere. There's going to be advertisements. And plus, you could just put it on the Steam page itself, like, 10 out of 10 from Game Informer or whatever else they want to do. So I do think it's a good idea. I don't think it's really going to change that much. Like, to me, and before I saw this article, I didn't even think about it. But when I saw it, I was like, you know what? That does make sense. Like, there's really no reason to have this stuff on as the artwork when it's like a 10-year-old game or something, especially. So, yeah, they're basically saying, starting in September, y'all, you're gonna have to change your artwork. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that story. Like I said, I think it's a good move. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it does. Like, you can always tell when it's a dated game too, because like the the reviews will be super old. Like, I don't know. It's stupid. It's stupid. Like, if someone's already on the game page, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I wonder what the science is behind that. I wonder if someone who doesn't know anything about a game and they see like the page with all these numbers just like all over it, like 10 out of 10 and all this stuff, does it make it more likely for them to click on the game and check it out? Does it have any kind of psychological effect on them at all? I don't know. I'm wondering. I mean, for me, it doesn't, because I'm already like, if a game catches my eye, it's usually because I'll scroll past it and maybe it's like one of those autoplay video things, or they have some kind of intriguing artwork, or the genre itself and the artwork is intriguing, not necessarily because of the review scores. Like, that's never, it doesn't matter. Like, you can always cherry pick reviews. Like, a game can get horrible reviews, and there could be a site that gives it like a 10 out of 10, and they could be like, oh, so and so website 10 out of 10, and then they're just gonna put it on the game box. So I don't think it adds that much value as far as determining the quality of the game. But I could see how having like the review scores on the box could really sway somebody into being like, oh, this is a good game. Especially like for something like this. This was, a 360 cover art that they use as an example. But you might be walking past this in the store, and that's like a different story. You're like, especially, this would be something that would attract somebody that's maybe buying a game for their kid in the store. But a lot of people aren't going to, like, a lot of the parents aren't going to be on Steam buying their kids a game anyway. They're probably, at the most, if they ask somebody, like, hey, what should I buy my kid on Steam? They're probably just going to be like, just get them a gift card. That'd be the easiest thing to do, honestly. Or if there's a specific game that they're asking for, they'll probably just buy that specific game anyway. They're not going to be like Walmart shop. I don't know why I keep using Walmart. I just think because Walmart is just like the most generic. It's like the most generic store I could think of. But they're not going to be like Walmart shopping or something. And then like on Steam, they're not going to be like, ooh, what should I get my son? Oh, this has 10 out of 10. I'm gonna buy this one. They're probably not doing that, and I feel like the other people that are on Steam are probably already looking for something specific anyway. They probably already have an idea because they watched something on YouTube or on TikTok or something, and they saw this game they're interested in. So or it's on the Steam page, on the trending or whatever. So I think that's how a lot of people discover games. So I don't think that's really going to change that much, but it makes sense why they're doing the change. See, and that's the reason I didn't want to do it in a news video. See how rambly that was? See how rambly I can get about these things? It's a shame. It's a shame. All right, the next thing I want to hop into really quick. So, PSVR 2, I was thinking about, this was also one that I didn't cover. Because to me personally, I didn't cover for my Sunday video, because to me personally, it's one of those, like, it's a story, but it's also a non-story. The PSVR 2, we got a first look at the interface. So, yeah. So I'm just going to show the pictures of it. So, it's going to have that mode where you can view your surroundings. Let me see where the actual picture is. Oh, this is the picture showing, like, why is it so off-center? Sorry, y'all. This is very off-center. But, like, you can see here in the corner, kind of, under the... Might text it out, the Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. There's a person, and they're, like, cut out, and they're, like, playing in VR, because they showed off kind of the sharing stuff. But, yeah, this is how basically it's going to look through the headset. And it's basically the same as, like, the Quest 2 looks. So you can see your surroundings. This is also very much what the Quest 2 does. If you set up your virtual boundary and you go outside of the boundary, then you can see that in the headset. And then there's you creating the boundary. Again, same thing with the Quest. This is kind of cool. It does like a map over your actual furniture and stuff, so you don't actually fall through the couch or something. I mean, the couch wouldn't be the worst thing to fall through. It'd probably be that table that has sharp edges. That would hurt. This would probably hurt. The lamp would hurt too. I feel like the couch would be the best thing to fall through. Probably the other stuff would be painful. So, yeah, I didn't include this in my news video because I just I just really want the headset to come out at this point. Like them showing the interface. it's cool. You know, this is definitely going to be. I understand why they did it, and I'm not saying like it's bad, because someone who is just upgrading directly from the PSVR 1 to the 2, they're not going to have had like an Oculus headset or probably a newer PC headset where they already have these features. So, yeah, I understand there is value in them showing it off and everything, but yeah, it was kind of just like a non-story. It was like, oh yeah, so basically you're doing the same stuff as Oculus. Cool. How much does it cost? When is it coming out? That's at this point, that's just where I'm at with it. And the price thing is really interesting, just because of, you know, Oculus raised their prices as of the first by $100 for each headset, which is insane. It's insane. In October, those things are going to be 2 years old. So yeah, I'm hoping that Sony comes in at the lower price. I mean, it'd be nice if they could do 300. And the reason I'm saying that is because, well, there is going to be, there obviously is going to be some electronics in the headset, right? But they're not putting a full computer in the headset like with the Oculus. They do have better optics, features, and everything. But what's really driving that thing is the PS5, which is already $500. Price to increase, possibly. If you watch my news video, there's a rumor. Not really a rumor, but Sony was asked about if they would increase prices, and they didn't answer. They were like, "Nah, we're not discussing that." So that means they're considering it. But anyway, you already got to have the $500 system, right, to drive this thing. They're not putting a full computer inside there. No, you know, it doesn't have to process graphics or anything like that. So, yes, even though they're adding more features to it, it's also not doing the heavy lifting the PS5 is. So I'm hoping that with that being taken into consideration, that maybe they can come to a decent price, like maybe like $300. Because like I said, if you is a, it's gonna be tough. I'm really curious to see what the price is gonna be, because even with the quests going down or going up in price, it's still a full standalone experience that you don't need anything else for, right? So you don't need a computer or a PlayStation or anything else. You can buy games in the store. Granted, at somewhat inflated prices. I'm not gonna lie and say that they have the best prices, but still, it's it's an easy way to get into VR, right? So, and it's fully standalone. So that's one of the things I like about it. Even just having a single cable is less convenient or less immersive, I would say. Not, it's not really that inconvenient to have a single cable, but it's less immersive than having a full standalone experience, right? So I think there's still value in that. I think it sucks that they raise the price so much, but even with that, it's still going to be the argument of, I get this PSVR 2, which technically is better quality. I know it's going to be better quality than the Oculus, but also you're never going to really have a fully wireless experience with it either. So my whole point is, I don't think that this thing, I think at max it should be like $400, which is what I'm expecting it to be. To be honest, I'm expecting it to be around 400. But if they can come in at 300 with the improvements that they did, I think that's a good bargain. 400 is doable. Anything above 400, I think, is ridiculous. So we'll see what happens. I do want one, just because I'm curious about that PlayStation experience. You know what I'm saying? Then they always have some exclusive games that they pay for. So I probably will end up getting one. They'll probably be sold out for a while though, so I'm not expecting to get one like on the jump. They're probably like 6 months to a year, like everything since the chip shortage happened. But yeah, I don't know. My opinion, 300, great price. 400, all right. Above 400, stop smoking. All right. This is a newer story. This actually just dropped yesterday. So, Nintendo is in a little bit of trouble sales wise. So, Nintendo sales drop as it contends with the chip shortage. So basically, did my stream end? My stream dropped out for a second. I don't know what that happened. It wasn't a bitrate thing. It just said no data for a second. Anyway, so I don't know how long the stream dipped out. So my bad, y'all, if y'all watching the replay and it was like wonky for a second. But so yeah, last year they were up basically 3 or 4 million or 3 million in, or they're up 1 million in hardware and then up about 4 million in software. And they said hardware production has impacted it, but like, I don't know. Is it hardware production though? I mean, I know everyone's using it as a reason for things, and I will have more to elaborate that on Sunday, Sega. But but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just judging off of the area where I live at. I can't, judge anybody else's area or situation, but I've seen switches like regularly. There was a point in the beginning of the pandemic where they were definitely sold out. But since then, and then the OLED that came out, that sold out. But I've even seen OLEDs around. I've seen them online pretty regularly. I don't, at least in the U.S. Maybe there's other parts of the world that's affecting their sales. That's possible. But like here, I see them online all the time. I even see the OLED. I seen OLEDs in stores. I seen regular Switch. I seen the Animal Crossing. I seen Switch lights. I see them everywhere. Like I don't know. It's hard to, unless there's something that, I don't know. Unless there's something that I'm just missing, I just don't feel like it's the chip shortage completely. Because, like, wouldn't that have affected them more last year? If that's the case, and the year before? So, I don't know. I just think that maybe people are tired of the Switch. Not tired of it, but I wouldn't say people are tired of the Switch, but, like, come on. They sold over 100 million. They're saturated the market. People have two and three. We have 2 in our house right now. Like I bought 5 Switches. I bought 5 since they came out. I mean, they've all gotten traded in or whatever, but we started off with the launch Switch, then got a Switch Lite when that came out, so that way we both have our own Switches. Decided I didn't like the Switch Lite enough because it didn't vibrate. It wasn't vibrating enough for me, and I was worried about the controller drift issue. Traded that in, got a 2nd-gen Switch with a better battery life. Then the OLEDs came out, and we both traded both of ours in and got OLEDs. So, 2017, I've had 5 Switches. But I don't feel like, once you sell somebody a Switch, in most cases, once you sell somebody a Switch, they good. They're going to have that one Switch their whole life. They're going to eat sandwiches with that Switch. They're going to raise that Switch as their own child. If there's multiple people in the household, like maybe there's kids and parent dynamic, something like that going on where they want their own separate Switch. Like, I care about you, child, but I don't want you near my Switch. Then at that point, maybe that's when they get their 2nd Switch. But in most cases, I feel like, they get the Switch and they're good, especially because there's no upgraded version really other than the OLED, in which the screen is gorgeous. It's mad. Mwah. Mwah. It was weird without doing the hand first. I apologize. Just the random air kiss. But it's mwah. The screen is brilliant on that thing. To me, as a handheld player, it was worth the upgrade. To most people, it's not worth the upgrade because it's not any faster than any other Switch. So, with them not doing, at least so far, who knows what's going to happen. But with them not doing any major hardware upgrade, like doing the Switch Pro or Plus or whatever you want to call it, I think it's going to be a hard sell because usually, halfway through the generation, people want to upgrade. Like there's a lot of people who will be like, oh, there's a new faster one, I'm going to upgrade. And then the fact that didn't happen, and I'm sure that's not 100% Nintendo's fault. I think they probably would have done the upgraded one. Like it sounds like the OLED was originally supposed to be that one, and it makes sense because how much work they put into the hardware. Like they made the thing metal for gosh sakes. Like the back of it's metal, has a nicer kickstand. They did the new dock for it. Like there's a lot of work they put into it for just a hardware refresh. I do feel like that was probably supposed to be that upgraded Switch like we originally thought, but the chip shortage was real. So at the time, at least. I'm not saying that's an excuse for their sales now, but chip shortage is real. So I do think that probably would have been the upgraded Switch, and that probably would have popped a lot more people to upgrade. Because right now it's like, if you don't play handheld, there's no advantage. So if you do play handheld, it's a great upgrade. But yeah, I don't think without an upgraded Switch that the sales are going to continue to go up. I mean, they already said that they expected to go down, but yeah, I think with that, and then something like the Steam Deck is probably going to pull a few people away that would have otherwise maybe gotten a Switch. People who don't specifically want to play Nintendo games, because yeah, if you don't really want to play Nintendo games, then the Steam Deck is probably a way better choice if you want to play like third-party games, because they're going to run better. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't felt like that was kind of a cop out on Nintendo's part to say it's because of the chip shortage. I think they've just maybe starting to saturate the market, and when you do that, you kind of have to entice people back in with something new. And I don't think the OLED was a strong enough case for existing users. Like, yeah, for new users, definitely. But I don't think it's a strong enough case for existing users. Like, yeah, I personally recommend it if you play handheld, but most people are like, nah, it's not. I'm good. It's the same. It's going to be just as fast as my current Switch. I'm not going to trade this in and lose money to upgrade. And I definitely respect that standpoint. So even though personally I feel like it's worth it, but I respect that standpoint. If someone's like, yeah, I'm not going to upgrade. Yeah, you don't really have to. It's a nice screen, but it's going to do the same thing as your current Switch. So I just think that they might just be getting to the end of the road, and I'm interested to see what the transition looks like to the next Switch. I don't know. It's it's complicated. It's just complicated. Like, do you do the Switch Pro? Is that the next Switch, like the upgraded one? And do you make it a little bit faster, but not too much faster, right? Make it a little bit faster, but not too much faster. So that way you can keep your existing Switches in production, and then use DLSS to get even greater performance gains. Like, do upscale to 4K. Maybe this has a 1080p screen and it's still running at 720, and they're upscaling it to 4K using DLSS, which works super well, or whatever. They are using NVIDIA chip, so yeah, it probably would be DLSS. But yeah, do they do that? Because that would be an interesting take on it. And then that way they can keep their existing hardware around longer. Of course, that would still be a band-aid, because they're always going to be limited by the original Switch if they do that. Or do they just cut and go, Switch 2, this one's out, new one has backwards compatibility, so you can play your old games, and we're doing this new one. So, yeah. And then what do they name it? Because if they do something stupid, like they did with the Wii U, and it confuses people, then they're going to be back in that same Wii U boat. Because, well, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that they sold the Switch. Well, first of all, people in general are a lot more educated on games back when even the Wii, Xbox 360, PS3 generation. So those people that bought the Wii because they like bowling, they were not gamers. That was the whole goal of the system, and I understand. I was never a huge Wii fan. There's one back there in my case. You probably can't see it, but I got one way after the fact. Like, I got this used for like $50, probably like 3 or 4 years ago. Because I was always curious about it, and plus I wanted the way to play GameCube games as well. So I picked up the Switch, or the original Wii. The Wii U actually had new, and that system, it was a pretty good system, to be honest. It's just, it was dying from the get because they messed up with the naming convention. But I think we're in a different era, kind of, and they sold to a different consumer. They sold to actual gamers this time, instead of just selling to people who never play games. And that's good. Like, they won that generation with the Wii, because they tapped into those people that never played games, but they know that they could play their golf game up there, and they can swing, or they can bowl, or whatever, and or do their Wii Fit, and they tapped into this market. But those people are not gamers, so when you name something the Wii U, they're gonna be like, oh, I already have a Wii. They're gonna think of it as like a TV, or like they see another Sony TV, they have like, I already have a Sony, I'm good. They're gonna think of it as something like that, like a car, or like, oh, this is the Nissan Sentra. This is the new Nissan Sentra U, and they're like, I already have a Sentra. So that's what they thought of it as, and that's kind of what doomed Nintendo when it came to the Wii U. So, but I don't think it's as likely to happen with the Switch. But I do think that it has to be a compelling enough upgrade to bring people forward. So, I don't know what they do at this point. Do they think, especially with the sales dropping like this, and I suspect it's not fully because of the chip shortage, Nintendo. So, do they bring do they continue this generation with the Switch, or do they cut and go? I don't know what their best option would be at this point. I think if they cut and go, then they need to give us something that's significantly more powerful than what they have right now. Because what they have right now is it's okay. I mean, they do well with their games, but yeah, these handheld PCs are right now they're not a problem, but they're going to become a problem eventually. Like the Steam Deck is it did introduce a kind of it's not really a new market. They weren't the first to market like GPD and those other companies were, but it being affordable and even coming close to the price of the Switch with way better performance and way more flexibility, letting you do the things that you want to because it's a computer. That's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Like right now, it's not a big threat to Nintendo, but as these devices get cheaper and more popular, when they start popping up in the Walmarts, yes, I'm using another Walmart thing again, another generic term. When they start popping up in the Walmarts, that's when Nintendo might have a problem. And so I know they don't like to compete on power, but they should be able to deliver a competent experience or a comparable experience to something like a Steam Deck using optimization. Like if the games are optimized, they should be able to perform generally in the same wheelhouse as Steam Deck on their new platform. I'm not saying it's going to be as powerful, but with consoles, they're using specialized hardware and they're having games made specifically to run on that hardware. And even with that right now, the Switch just can't even keep up. Like it's nowhere near in the league of the Steam Deck when it comes to third party games. And we all know, well, you might not know, but the Steam Deck can actually emulate Switch games at full speed. Like that's how powerful the Steam Deck is, or how much more powerful than it is in the Switch. So right now, it doesn't matter because the Steam Deck is still, let's be honest, it's still a niche product. It's a really good product, but it's still kind of niche. This is probably one of the biggest, handheld PCs that are going to bring a lot more people into this market, but it's still niche. But in a few years, especially with Steam OS, it's probably going to be open source, and other manufacturers are going to be able to use it and just put it on their handheld. I think that's what they're banking on. That's what they wanted with their Steam machines back in the day, and those never took off because when it came to desktop gaming, I mean, let's be honest, it was Windows pretty much, and no one was going to. It's going to be a harder shift. It would have been a harder shift on desktop because desktops are a lot easier to build, and then you could just put whatever OS you want on it. Whereas like a handheld, an intricate handheld, is a lot harder to make in your house. So when you have something like that, and it's running this OS that's super optimized, it's way more valuable than a desktop OS. And you can use Steam OS on a desktop as well. So this is the way that Valve is finally going to get their Steam machine thing that they had in their mind, however many years ago it was, off the ground, is by basically giving you the blueprint, which is the Steam Deck, and like, look how well it works with Steam OS. You can do this with your computer. You don't have to pay licensing fees. Well, I don't think they charge licensing fees for handhelds if the screen is under a certain size. But either way, like Steam OS is just super optimized and it's really made for handhelds. So I think we might see those Steam OS handhelds start popping up. Who knows? Walmart might do an on-brand one that's like $200 with like a lower end core i3 or something like that, and that's when there's gonna be a problem. So, like I said, they got to come with the heat. I think at this point, what are we 5 years in on the Switch? I think it's just maybe another year or two, and then we get a hard cut. Not like like the Switch is going to die instantly, but there's going to be a Switch 2, and those games are not going to play on the Switch. That's what I mean by hard cut. I think the Switch games will probably play on on the news, whatever the follow up is, but obviously not vice versa. But that's the end of my rant today about the Switch, about PSVR 2, about the Steam Deck, about Steam, about my streaming setup, about my life. I'm going to be back on Sunday for another sensational Sunday as usual. Next time I stream, there's going to be music. I hope. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to do a song. I'm going to do an intro. I know I keep saying that. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. But, oh yeah, and Thursday. Thursday videos now. Thursday videos. Sundays and Thursdays. But until Sunday, I'll catch you guys later. Remember to always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace. And I'm going to hit the end stream button. And it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to end? Yes, I'm sure. Peace.